had no input in raising me.
In the streets, the criminal path I started was in 86. I flipped and dipped the soul units with some side shit. Wherever the note took me, I went there. Accent County and PA, even in out states, I made my mark there. Now I offer my apology, cause the people I hurt, the ones I damaged, they look just like me. I went 18 years missing all the things that mattered to them, so I took that into consideration. And upon my release, the very first thing I did when I saw my kids was offer my apology. You can't get too big-headed coming home trying to run shit when you ain't raised shit. The truth hurts, don't it? But when digested properly, we could bring change to this rigid dichotomy and bridge that gap. Cause the true essence of who we are was given to us, but they ain't received none of that.
When that moment comes, you got a decision to make. And that's the decision that ultimately would affect the outcome of your life.
In the jails, my tenure started in 90. I was rhyming. Had no idea the shit that I did would have found me. Listen to these lyrics, the spirit is upon me. Perspective is different cause reality is alarming. The dishes in the hoods is serious. It's hilarious how we blame our kids for the shit we created. Amass all the crimes inflicted in picture back in 86. See the resemblance? Our legacy is tragedy. What we thought they didn't see became their reality. Peace to my son and to all those who fell for the gun too. We love you and your legacies be safely held on to. How many mothers must grieve to believe that the shit we done back then has affected our genes? Hashtag talk heavy, what's more relevant? The audacity of me to start confronting shit. Let's make it make sense. You're fronting cause you're doing well. It's not how well you doing, but how long you're doing well. Whichever card you play, make sure that it reaches back. These principles we practice, they ain't receive none of that. Whichever card you play, make sure that it reaches back. These principles we practice, they ain't receive none of that. Talk heavy. Greetings, everybody. This is Mr. Talk Heavy. Morning workout to get the body refreshed. You know what I mean? To get your shit right. It's a necessity because you're dealing with people and what I do. The third record is almost done. I'm waiting on the cover art, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it out. You know, it's a real thing, man. Jumping back into this music. You know, I haven't done music in 30 years. You dig? And just to be able to express yourself at your fullest, you know, to express it with the right vibe, with the right beat, right emotion. You exuding all that pain, all that anxiety, all that anguish, all that is coming out in those bars and them lyrics. The melody expressing the energy that you in. And you riding with it. You dig? It's like riding a car. You ride that beat. You know what I mean? You know? You riding that beat, man. When you putting them bars together the way they supposed to go, you have a direction. You know? You have something to say. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. I'm gonna tell you what got me back into music. young boy, good brother, my brother's good friend, Luck. Luck got his own. He built his own studio. He built he's building a media empire, really. I see his vision, you know. His vision is similar to mine. Think alike, you know what I mean? A lot of us is doing what we have to do so we could be able to do what we want to do, you know what I mean? And what really tipped that scale for me was a brother that I never met, a brother that I never even heard of until he got killed. So I give an official salute to that brother Nipsey Hussle. Tell you something about Nipsey. They were slowly but surely getting to see his genius. You know, he was prospering. Everything was going in the direction that he dreamed of it going. You know what I mean? And to be cut down like that, when you at that moment when you're about to reach over into that kind of life that you dreamed of, when you get cut down for that. But see, he was a soldier. You know what I mean? He was a soldier. He was a part of a lifestyle that don't end well. You know what I mean? He was trying to get out of that lifestyle. He was trying to bring his brothers with him. All respect to that brother, man, for his thought processes, for his intentions. You know what I mean? And when I heard his bars was his life, where he saw his environment. He was painting that picture, but he's also giving a blueprint on how to come up out of that. You see what I'm saying? See, let me tell you something. We all do what we have to do when the situations get drastic. We lived our whole existence. We ain't lived our whole history over here in this part of the world. We lived our history drastically. We didn't live our history. We wasn't building. We was being turned, we was being destroyed, we was being beat down. Well, not us, but our ancestors. The life that they lived, we can't even think about. That's how drastic it was. But remembering our history and understanding our history, it gives us the motivation and the energy and the strength to be better, to get better, to do better. But we've been so traumatized our whole lives over here that becomes our mentality. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that brother, his thoughts was above that. It was beyond that. You know? I think that brother had the mindset to be and do whatever it is he wanted to, and he was doing it. You know what I'm saying? He was doing it. So that, by me not knowing who he was and then learning his history, learning his mentality, you know, going through his discography and seeing who he is as a man, I can only salute that brother. You know what I'm saying? So the most
the most about that was his music was dope. You know what I'm saying? His music was dope. And his dope music had dope messages. He met his demise at his own store. He met his demise in his own neighborhood. He built his store where he used to hustle at. Dig the mindset. Dig the mindset. Where he hustled at, where he committed crimes at, where he banged at. The brothers that he banged with, he hired them. You dig? He hired them, and he replaced the banging for business. You can only salute that. You know what I'm saying? You can only salute that. He took his environment, he took in his environment, studied it, understood it, and tried to point it into a different direction. And it was working. You know what I'm saying? It was working. So I share those same sentiments because I'm from one of those same environments, not the gang culture. But this Philly thing here, this is a Philadelphia environment. It's a mentality. And you got to be here to be able to understand it or be from here. But the suffering that's caused in this city, in this day and time, is unimaginable. Even during the gang war days, it wasn't as bad. You know, so when my son got killed, my life just stopped. You know what I'm saying? My life just stopped. And I went through the worst traumatic experience that I ever went through in my life. I haven't been through this when I was in the penitentiary. And I did 18 years. So I had to take some time to readjust, to refocus. I had to take some time to heal. Because I was on a downward spiral. And that downward spiral took me to the bottom. There's nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? There's nowhere else to go. So I feel what our kids is feeling. I've been through that. See, we can't understand them because we truly, honestly haven't been through what they've been through. We truly and honestly haven't suffered the way they suffered. I'm taking my life as an example. My son was 30 when he died. That was in 2021. So that was 2 years ago. So be 32 going on 33. 33 years ago. Where was I at? It's 2023. It's 2023. You dig? I spent up to the time when I came home in 2009, I spent almost his entire life in jail. That's me. See, that's the problem. We got to own up to our own shit. If I spent 18 years in jail when he was 1 and 2, I went to jail. My kids was 1 and 2, I went to jail. So I come home, they 18, 19, 17. Excuse me. 18, 19, 20. When they was having kids. But did. I was born in 1971. When I come up, there was no crack era. When I was in the 70s, when I was being raised, it was under strict conditions. Because my family was in the nation. So I was in the nation. You know what I'm saying? So I lived a structured life, disciplined life. We had fun. We were kids, but we were disciplined kids. See, we got to understand what our elders had invested into us. You think about it, back in the 60s and the 70s, that was the information period. More black people were going to colleges. You know, it was the shift because the information was available. The information that was available wasn't available for our parents and our elders when they came. So when that information came about, they invested that into us. So our duty was to invest what we learned from them into our children. That's called building communities. That's what we was about. That's what our people was about, building communities, getting our community up, having brotherly love, peace. But to strive. We wanted success. We wanted to live. We wanted to feel a life. We was tired of the suffering. So everything that they learned, they invested that into us. What do we do? When it came time for us to pass that baton, dropped it. We did what we wanted to do. We made decisions that's still affecting us today. So we got to realize that we got to see it for what it is. So it's our duty as they elder to try to make amends with them. It is our duty as they elder because of how we had to exist during their upbringing, because we had no influence in their upbringing. We had no input. We wasn't there. I know me, I was in the penitentiary. How many people was in the penitentiary with me? You dig? So who was raising them? They had to figure it out on their own. This is why we can't understand them. This is why there's no connection. There's no connection because we never made one. You understand what I'm saying? And this is not something that I just hypothesize. This is what I got from them. So when my son got killed, I had to talk to them. I had to find out what the fuck was going on. I had to find out the real issue. Why their temperament was like that. And they straight up told me, y'all wasn't there. Even when y'all was there, y'all wasn't there. So we had to figure it out on our own. And that's what the hell they did. Got to respect it. We do necessary things out of survival. We've been living in survival mode our whole life. Imagine the survival mode that they lived through. From 85 on till. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what hashtag talkheavy is about. It's bridging that gap that exists between us generations. In the effort to prevent the violence that's plaguing the inner city. It's so much violence that we're living in fear. We have to break that monopoly up. We have to get into that exterior. We have to try to break that ice. Trust and believe. The way to do that is to make amends with them. But you gotta sit them down. You gotta talk to them. You gotta let them know that it was my fault, my decision that caused your agony and pain. Because this is what I told my kids when I came home. I said it was my fault. I made the decisions that ultimately resulted in the life that you live. And I humbly apologize. I'm so sorry that happened. From this day forward until I will never leave your life again. You dig? Ever. So I made the conscientious decision to understand what was my task. And it was to live for them. Because I already lived for me. You see what I'm saying? Understanding the environment in which we live in. If we don't try to make peace with our younger generation, then it's going to extend to their kids, which is be our grandkids. You understand what I'm saying? See, I understand that I spent their entire life in jail. So all I could do is just be there. Help in any way I can. But my second chance was their kids. My grandkids. You see what I'm saying? See, I didn't have a chance to raise them, but my second chances were them. You know? So I made it my duty that every decision that I made, it was with them in mind. You understand what I'm saying? This is why I didn't go and black out when my son was murdered. I didn't black out because I didn't did that. I didn't took it upon myself to make those decisions without giving an honest, true thought of how it would affect them. I didn't already did that, so I'm going to do it again. It's time for change. It's time for us to understand who we are as a people, as a nation. But most importantly, our essence. This world that we live in is so vast. And you look at the universe, it's endless. This is a blessing. We treating that just another thing. Let's start appreciating life. Let's start seeing life for what it truly is. You know what I'm saying? You will get more out of it if you treat it right. You dig? I love you. I got to get back to work, man. But it's my little morning thoughts, man. So remember, man, love life, live it to the fullest, man. I appreciate everybody checking in. How y'all doing? It's Mr. Talk Heavy, man. All right? Peace.